Some breaking news from Manchester United. Ed Woodward will be stepping down as executive vice chairman, with Richard Arnold becoming the new chief executive at the start of February. As you can see, I've been joined by Cavi Solokol, who can bring us up to speed with all the goings on here. This announcement just happened in the last few moments, so what further details can you bring us?
Well, look, it's not a total surprise because Ed Woodward had said a few months ago that he was going to step down. But it is still big news for Manchester United supporters. Ed Woodward has been at the club ever since the Glazers bought the club in 2007. He's been basically running the club on a day-to-day basis for the past 6-7 years. And I think if you look at his record, you have to say that on the pitch, it hasn't been good enough. And I think he would be the first person who would hold his hands up and say, we made mistakes. We haven't won the title since Sir Alex Ferguson made the club. Our recruitment was poor, especially at the beginning when Sir Alex left. And also there's been a big turnover in managers. We went from stability under Sir Alex Ferguson to having lots of different managers. But then, to be fair to Ed Woodward, off the pitch, he's done a great job. I mean, the revenues at Manchester United have almost doubled since he's been at the club. Operating profit has almost doubled. I know there are issues with the stadium and the training ground. They need redeveloping, but that is going to be done. So it's been a mixed picture under Ed Woodward, and I'm sure he'd be the first person who would hold his hands up and say, look, it's been a huge honour for me to run a club as big as Manchester United, but yes, I do have regrets, and yes, along the way, I have made some mistakes.
Yeah, so you mentioned that kind of mixed picture even. Do you think, on reflection, on balance, the criticism that he received was fair or not?
I think a lot of the criticism is fair. The only thing I would say in his defence is, if he'd got a manager like a Pep Guardiola or a Jurgen Klopp, then I think he wouldn't have had very much criticism at all, because he could have left a Guardiola or a Klopp to run the football side of things. United would have carried on winning. They would have carried on having the success they had under Sir Alex Ferguson. And then Ed Woodward could have just concentrated on things off the pitch, the business side of Manchester United. But unfortunately, they didn't really get the manager appointment right. They had David Moyes, who, look at the job he's doing at West Ham United. But I think when they appointed him, they almost gave him too much responsibility. There wasn't the structure there at the club. They needed a director of football, they needed a technical director, and they needed to leave David Moyes to just run the team. I think they now appreciate that was a mistake. Then they had Louis van Gaal, who was a fantastic character, great box office. You can't argue with his record. But the style of football there was just not right. A lot of Manchester United fans were totally bored by watching the kind of football that Louis van Gaal was producing. But he had a fantastic relationship with Ed Woodward. Then we had Jose Mourinho. I think we all know what happened under Jose Mourinho, although I think he's still on pretty good terms with Ed Woodward as well. Ed Woodward appreciates the job that he did. He did bring trophies to the club. And then, of course, we had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who it looked like he was going to achieve something, but ultimately it did not work out, and it's a results business. But I think if you look at the record of Manchester United while Ed Woodward was there, it's not as bad as people think. Yes, it's bad compared to what happened under David Gill and Sir Alex Ferguson, but I think they finished twice, 2 times. They finished above Liverpool, I think, in 3 of the last 6 seasons. They finished above Chelsea in 4 of the last 6 seasons. So I think we need a little bit of perspective. But as I said, Ed Woodward himself would be the first person who would put his hands up and say, yes, I did make mistakes. I do have regrets. I didn't get everything right.
Yeah, and I wonder if one of those mistakes was the fallout of the European Super League. We spoke a lot about it when it was all going on. Was it going to happen? Was it not going to happen? How much did that impact the decision for him to step down? I
think it was absolutely instrumental. What happened with the European Super League in April, I think Ed Woodward has been involved in talks about setting up a European Super League since about 2016, 2017. But I don't think he thought it was actually going to happen. these executives who were involved in these talks always used it as a negotiating tool to get what they wanted out of UEFA, to basically say to UEFA, look, if you don't give us what we want, more revenues, more broadcast revenues, we're going to go off and set up our own European Super League. So it was a negotiating tool. And I think as far as Ed Woodward was concerned, he was quite surprised that it actually ended up happening. And when it happened the way it happened, and when it became apparent that there was not going to be promotion and relegation, it was going to be a closed league, I think Ed Woodward came out and said, look, this is not for me, I'm going to resign. And pretty quickly, once I think the news came out on Sunday that it had been set up, I think the following day he said, look, it's not for me, I'm going to be resigning. And that is why he is leaving next week.
Yeah, and of course this is transfer talk. Manchester United fans watching now will be keen to know what the future holds for the club in terms of the transfer window and beyond. But on reflection, how do you think Woodward would assess the job that he did in this department with transfers over the years?
OK, let's look at the past and the future. As far as the past is concerned, Manchester United have spent a phenomenal amount of money. I think over £1 billion. And they've signed some great players. I think if you had to say to Ed Woodward, who is the best, the deal you're most proud of, I think he would say signing Cristiano Ronaldo in the summer. That was a fantastic deal for him to be able to pull off, because we know he was very, very close to joining some of their rivals. And also, I think he'll have some regrets, you know, especially that first transfer window. Manchester United were close to signing Toni Kroos. They were close to signing Cesc Fabregas. They were close to signing Gareth Bale. There are a lot of players they missed out on. But then again, they missed out on a lot of players under Sir Alex Ferguson as well. Now, looking to the future, the immediate future, do I think they'll go out and spend big money this month? I don't think so. Will they spend big money in the summer? Yes, definitely. I've been told they have the finances there. We're talking about players like Erling Haaland becoming available. Manchester United are still a massive pull for the biggest players in the world, and the money is there. Now, if one of their summer targets becomes available now, the finances are there to do the deal now as well. But I think for Manchester United fans, when it comes to transfers, the focus has to be the summer. But the good news is that the money is there, and people like Haaland are viable targets, because Manchester United are still a massive pull.